And it's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box today? Is Tuesday. It is March 4th. It is 7:01 p.m. I appreciate you guys joining me today on the call-in show. This is how it's going to work, straight up. You guys call in the show. Let's talk about it. You want to talk about spring football? Let's talk about it. Let us discuss it tonight right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I hope that you've had an opportunity to have a strong Monday, a strong Tuesday. If you put in the work today, if you feel good about your work day, my hat's off to you. Still got another hour of my work day, and it doesn't really stop. You know, one thing is like when you find your craft, when you are passionate about something, when you are hungry about something, right? Is it really work? I appreciate you guys being here. So tonight on the show, I'm going to put the call-in line number on. I'm gonna set it here from the jump, okay? You guys are going to call in the show. We're going to discuss it. Keep in mind, there's other people behind you, right? So get what you got to say in, and then we will continue to navigate through the show, all right? Appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Some of the things that I'd like for you guys to think about tonight is, you know, what are some questions that are kind of on your mind, right? What are themes that we're starting to see, right? Let me try to line this up. Got to get it right. All right. Jarvis, what's up, man? CLPN, I see you inside the comment box. Sam Anderson, what's up, man? Josh Anderson, Bama Boy, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here. All right. There's the call-in line number, 205-850-1994. Appreciate you guys being here. Definitely drop a thumbs up. And if you're in the Southeast, stay safe. The storms are crazy. They just blew through here a little while ago. All right. You guys ready to do this? All right. Let's fire it up. Okay. Call line is open. We'll restart our video, and away we go. Batting first is Chris from New Jersey. Let's get it going. Chris, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling into the show. Welcome on in with spring football's finally here, man. What's up?
Kyle, my friend. Happy spring football.
Yeah, happy spring football to you too, man. I think
everybody's pumped.
It's been a while since we've had like real football to look at, things to talk about, things to discuss, and while we've only had one practice, I think there's some storylines that we'd like to talk about. So, opening up the mic to you, man. Welcome on in, Chris. What's on your mind after one day? Yeah, go ahead, man.
So, I saw that even though he's on the roster as 0 still, but Deontay Lawson's supposedly switching out of wearing 0, which is, you know how I feel about that. It's not a number. I think that number is a jinx. I hope it's not a jinx for AK Deer, but any word of what number he's going to wear today? Because I heard he's not going to wear 0.
What did he wear before? Was it 32 that he wore before?
32 or something.
Right. Yeah, wasn't it? I didn't even see that. Yeah, I mean, look, the number, the whole number.
I'm not a 0. Come on, man.
The whole number 0 thing, it doesn't really bother me. I saw that AK Deer is wearing it. I know Deontay. It's kind of like a thing right now. Isn't that the number that is Terry Arnold for the Lions? Is he wearing 0 as well? I don't know when this became a thing. The only person, I'm going to date myself a little bit, but the only person that I remember ever wearing 0, wasn't it like Jesse Parrish? Like way back for like the Celtics?
Yeah. And then you want to go way back. There was like a guy for the Raiders who wore 00. He was like, that guy was always like, his nose was always bleeding. He was like a center. And listen, that guy, 00, you're always bleeding, and you're like a center with one of those old school face masks. Yes, everybody else.
No, it was Robert Parrish. Robert Parrish. It was 00. Anyways, I don't know. The thing about it, though, when I think about the inside linebackers is, look, you're going to have a lot of these guys have opportunities because Justin Jefferson, he's going to be limited. And then you have Deontay Lawson who's out. So that makes room for new guys to step up during this point in time, which is good because the most of the guys are that you have at the logjam at the inside linebacker, those guys have so much experience. So you need to bolster that, those other guys up like Caden Jones, QB Reese. I don't know, some of the new guys in. So I'm not mad about it, but Deontay Lawson coming back, we haven't had an opportunity to really
huge.
Yeah, it's gigantic. I mean, look, people are saying LT Overton, one of the top 30 players in college football, and rightfully so on the defensive side. Deontay Lawson might be one of the top 10. Seriously.
And
he would have been right with Jahad Campbell in terms of the NFL draft. Now, Jahad Campbell, I think he has a little bit more athleticism.
Right now projected.
100%. 100%. And I don't think Deontay Lawson is too far from that. And did you hear this? Robbie Oots, who's 270 pounds, okay? 270. This is a grown-ass man, okay? He said that the guy that he would go up and he was like, who's the toughest guy you've gone up against? Like head-to-head, just two dudes just hitting each other. He said Deontay Lawson.
I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when someone that's 270 pounds says that you're bringing a load, like, I believe it. So for those out there kind of losing sight of Deontay Lawson, don't. This guy will come back, and when he's 100% healthy, he's going to do a lot of damage. I appreciate you guys joining us tonight, 205-850-1994 on the line with Chris from New Jersey. Kind of a celebration. I've been doing some
and then I'll fly, Kyle.
Yeah, let me get to this real quick.
Ryan Williams.
Hold on, Chris. Let me.
Go ahead.
You're good, man. Hey, so how tonight is working is it's a call-in show. So you guys call in. We're talking about spring football. Any topic that you want to bring to the table, bring it. So it's your show. Have fun with it. But go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. Continue, bro.
So, I'm going to say this. It doesn't make any sense to me. Ryan Williams looks much bigger. I mean, when I say much bigger, I mean 10 to 15 pounds of muscle bigger. So I don't know why they didn't adjust that number. That's one. And listen, Kyle, I have one thing. I know this is way too early to speculate, and I haven't been so great with picking the quarterbacks. But did you see some of the quick throws that you posted of Keelan? That ball is not. That's a zip on a ball. That is, he can spin it, and that's exciting. And I'm not saying that Ty. That he threw some good balls, but Keelan, Kyle, did you see those balls?
Yeah, I mean, what stands out to me is with Keelan Russell. Well, first, let me get to Ryan Williams. He looks thicker, right? I think that but what was interesting is I think we had a relative pop on the show recently of his and say that he's the same pound, he's just thicker. He looks like a little bit more filled out. I mean, the guy's still a teenager. So, and then with Keelan Russell, the thing about it is when you watch him throw, it's just like kind of that natural like flick of the wrist. He has a really good throwing motion. And I guess he added 17 pounds. Now, someone pointed out it's like not 17 pounds of muscle, obviously. But 17 pounds is good. You want to continue to get him beefed up for the SEC grind. So, yeah, those two things have definitely stood out to me too, Chris. I appreciate you calling in, brother.
Oh, Kyle, one last thing, brother.
Yeah.
You're going to go in, since now we can't watch it, you're going to go in the game, right? Because, now I'm bummed out about not being able to watch.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for A-Day. I mean, I guess I got to go over there, and watch A-Day. I just want to figure out, like, what exactly is going to happen because, I have to be online. So
bring the stools back, Kyle. Bring the stools.
Yeah, we can do this. We can do the stools. I mean, I'm doing that right now for my F3 podcast, so we'll have to see.
All right, brother. All right. Thanks for taking my call. We're all pumped, so roll Tide, brother.
All right, man. Take it easy. Chris from New Jersey, in with the first call. Call line's wide open, 205-850-1994. I appreciate you guys. Basically a celebration talking about spring football and any topics that you want to discuss. So call in. It's kind of open mic night. I appreciate you guys being here. Chris was pointing out one thing that I think is certainly interesting, and we can't, forget about this, is that Deontay Lawson, his overall impact when he does come and when he is 100% healthy, I think will be really, on another level for the Alabama defense, right? So, Don't forget about him. I know there's a lot of guys that we're excited about, a lot of guys that are limited or out during the spring period, but don't forget about Deontay Lawson. I guess according to Chris, I haven't even seen this. I guess he's changing his jersey number from 0. I don't care really what number he is. To be honest, it doesn't bother me. I just want to make sure that he's 100% healthy. All right, 931, you're up. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the show. Who am on the line with and where are you calling in from?
It's David from Middle Tennessee.
Dave, what's up, man? I appreciate you guys calling in. We got David from Middle Tennessee. Welcome on to the show, man. Come with it.
Hey, man, I just want to know, do you think that having a quarterback that can distribute the ball to other receivers will help Ryan Williams' year this year?
Yeah, I appreciate the
Because it kind of
call.
seemed like last year they keyed on him a lot, and all we could get it to was Bernard and Williams.
Yeah, good call. I think that, that's something that we're really excited about. I mean, right here, just on the screen, Ryan Grubb, I feel that he's coming in at a perfect time because he gets to have kind of a clean notebook with the new quarterbacks. I mean, I've been saying this the whole time. You're getting ready to see some quarterback footage. I think that the quarterback that takes over, I would really like to see Alabama, and I've been saying this a lot, emphasize on kind of underneath passes. And what I mean by that is under 15 yards. And I think you let Ryan Williams and some of these other explosive wide receivers do what they're capable of after the catch. And I think with any of the quarterbacks, whoever starts, I would like to see a lot of, that intermediate passing game take shape, take form. I think the long stuff will be there, and sometimes a running game where the short intermediate stuff kind of opens that up. But yeah, I think you see a lot of production, and I'm thinking that because of the wide receivers and kind of the depth of the wide receiver room, I think there's going to be a lot of guys that are eating. Now, Ryan Williams is clearly going to be the guy that you feature, but I think there's plenty of guys to keep these guys fresh. What are you thinking? I mean, look, we've seen like 6 passes from the quarterbacks. We're so desperate for footage, but has anything stood out just watching the quarterbacks throw? I mean, we've seen Keelan Russell throw it like 3 times.
Yeah, I think he spins the ball good. I think Mack and Williams, Ty Simpson both have the size and the experience, a little bit more experience than Keelan. I think that's going to be his biggest issue is experience and getting used to the pass rush of the SEC. Kind of seems like to me that, like kind of what you were saying about the intermediate passing, that we kind of got away from the slants that we used to run with, like Judy and stuff. We used to hit that Judy slant all the time, and he would just bust it wide open, and I wondered why we kind of got away from that.
It's interesting. Jack, what's up, man? Jack's like, I can't tell if Kyle likes underneath passes or not. One of the things that Jalen Milroe did have, and it was a little bit during the beginning of the season, but the year before, is his D-ball accuracy was like phenomenal. That was like the best thing that he had other than like his running ability. And then towards the end, that kind of went away. We haven't seen any of the quarterbacks that are on the roster throw against, high caliber defenses yet. So who is going to have that deep ball ability? And clearly that's a huge, important part of the game as well. But what I've seen from Keelan Russell's film, because I've watched a lot of film, just like everybody else has of him, he seemed to have it. And the thing that he has, I think, more than any other quarterbacks, is you get him in the red zone, and he has a great ability to throw on the run. So don't forget about all these quarterbacks having athleticism. I think, Keelan, Ty has tremendous athleticism. I still really haven't seen Austin Mack run around. I don't know if that's part of his game. But I think Coach Kalen DeBoer recently said that all these quarterbacks can extend plays. What else you got, David? Anything else?
No, that's just it, man. I can't wait for next year. Jacked up about it. I think we got to give the coaches a chance.
Yeah.
I can't imagine walking in a legend's shadow. So, anything like that, he's done better than a lot of them. You go back and look at Curry and Perkins that followed Bear Bryant and see how they done their first year. And I think he's loaded with talent, and I think he had to hold the team together, to keep everybody from jumping ship on him. So, let's give him a chance and see what he can do.
Yeah, good call, David. I appreciate you calling in, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, take it easy. All right, we went from Chris from New Jersey to David down in Middle Tennessee. Call line is open. 205-850-1994 is the call line number. David points out about the new coaching staff. And I kind of go back to Greg Byrne. I think he had some comments to 247 Bama talking about that Alabama is in a much better position right now. And he's absolutely right, just from a stability standpoint, right? You're not scrambling, right now we know what Alabama needs to fix, right? Excuse me. You have trying to figure out what's going to work at right tackle. Do you really need to go into the portal? I still would like them to do that. The defensive line, what's going to happen with special teams, but you comparatively, like year over year, and I asked this earlier on my show today, does Alabama have a better offensive coordinator right now compared to last year? Yes. Are they in a better position quarterback-wise? Maybe so, right? Are you in a better position in the secondary? Yes. Are you in a better position from a defense overall? Yeah, right? So all those things. I think, you're in a much better situation than you were last year, right? Call line is open 205-850-1994. And I think, we've definitely been critical of the staff when we've needed to be, but we've also given them grace and understood that when you follow somebody like Coach Saban, there was nobody that was going to come in. It was going to be like a perfect, like automatic fix. That just wasn't ever going to be the case. And credit Kalen DeBoer for wanting to come in and take that opportunity. By the way, I think the next episode of The Tide That Binds, is that what the docuseries is called? I think it'll be out tomorrow. I think they're dropping each Wednesday. These photos, courtesy of the University of Alabama, same thing with the footage. They send it out and, allow us to use the media, which we really appreciate. So, The Tide That Binds. I'm in a couple of those, like just my voice. So, keep your ears open. I think I'll be in every single episode. We'll have to see. And I think, look, you get Ryan Grubb in, and you have Jason Jones, who's the assistant to, I guess, Mo Lindquist back in the secondary, and Chuck Monroe. But overall, like the staff pretty much stays intact, which I think is also a sign of good stability. Coach Kalen DeBoer was asked on on Monday about kind of the leadership, right? And I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, like, who are going to be the leaders this year? Who are going to be the guys that really step up and be the leaders for Alabama? Because think about this, like Alabama always has a leadership committee, guys who kind of set the tone, lead by example, hold guys accountable. Who are going to be those guys? If you had to guess right now, just based on what you know, who do you think the leaders are? Do the leaders have to be starters? Do the leaders and how many of those leaders are part of Coach Kalen DeBoer's kind of, new regime compared to Coach Saban? Because it would be interesting. Maybe we'll do this sometime, one of the shows that we'll have. We'll go over how many Coach Saban guys are still left on the roster. Has anybody done that? I think that'd be interesting to kind of see what Saban guys are still here. Because now, Coach Kalen DeBoer, he's starting to get his guys, and specifically with this monster class of 2025 that he just signed, which was fantastic. I never would have thought that they would have signed, a type of class like that. We got an 865 coming in right now. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle? It's Angel.
Angel, what's up, man? I had to get used to your new number, bro. Angel calling in from Pigeon Forge. What's up, man? What's on your mind? And welcome to the show.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'm happy to see Ryan Grubb in an Alabama uniform. It's been long overdue. And to answer your question earlier, what you said about who's going to be the leaders of this team this year, I think it's going to be Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, and Ty Simpson, Deontay Lawson, and Damani Jackson. Those will be the leaders for this season, I think, because they all play an important role on both sides of the ball or on their own position group. Because last year we didn't really have a leader that stepped up enough. John Campbell did pretty all right when Lawson before he got hurt, but they got to set more accountability and play better defense and offense, because what we saw last year was mediocre. It's not Alabama football. It's just not Alabama football. It's not championship football. And but I really do believe that Kalen DeBoer will get over the hump. But like I said, I'm really not a fan of I get it that the coaches are not going to have it televised because people posting players. I get that, but at the same time, it's just I don't agree with that because if you have the recruits in the country, you can always reload.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's NIL money. Money's important now. I get that. But you just got to get used to it. And I really think Alabama this year will take a big step forward. I'm not going to say they're going to win nothing yet, but we'll have to see when it plays out, Kyle.
Let me ask you this: why do you think?
Yeah.
And this is for everybody inside the comment box too. Why do you think, or do you, if you think that Alabama is going to take a step forward, why? Like, what are points that you point to? Is it Ryan Grubb? Is it a new quarterback? Is it you like the schedule? It's favorable. Like, what are a couple things why you think Alabama takes? Is it stability now that you have, you know, a second-year coach? Like, why? Why do you think that Alabama takes a step forward, Angel?
Well, because Ryan Grubb is there now. Like, Nick Sheridan is not it. His playbook is not it. Ty Simpson, he can read defenses. I'm not knocking on Jalen. He's a good player and all, and a great person, but he just didn't develop well enough to understand defenses and offenses. But this year, I think this defense, it's going to be lights out because we now know what the system is now.
Yep.
We know what's been run, and it's very simple now. It's like with the Georgia game last year. That was what we saw, but didn't live up to the rest of the season, and that's why we fell short in the playoffs and missed the playoffs, a 12-team playoff. Yeah, that's just mind-blowing. But anyway, Carl, I know you got someone else behind me.
Yeah.
Roll Tide, man. I just want to call in real quick.
I appreciate it, bro.
I'm not dead. I'm alive.
All right, man. Yeah.
Roll
All right.
Tide.
Good to hear from you, Angel. All right. Angel out in Pigeon Forge. Angel's been calling for, you know, I guess years now. You know, a lot of people forget. This is the, 8th year of the call-in show, which is crazy. And, you know, I think back, call-in line is open 205-850-1994. I think back to, the growth of the call-in show, and you see all these other YouTube channels, how it's really exploded. There's so many people in this space. You know, when I started doing this, 9 years ago, I used to have a call-in show. If you go back and watch some of them, they're hilarious. Just, you know, how the technology has changed and stuff like that is wild. The lighting, all that stuff. What's up, Voice of Reason? I see you inside the comment box. Mr. Archive, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here, man. Samuel, I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, call line is open 205-850-1994. I think for me, if you were like, Kyle, why is Alabama going to take a step forward? Tell us right now. I think I start with this guy right here, Ryan Grubb. I get it. All the stuff that happened with Seattle or whatever. It makes me a little nervous that he didn't run the football the way Seahawks fans wanted him to. I kind of go back, though. I don't like to judge people on 1 year. And that's why I'm having such a hard time with Kalen DeBoer, because I was really critical of him. There were some positive things, and I've highlighted those things. I think he's hit some home runs. Some of the other things, culturally, I disagree with. But I'm more of a conservative type of a person in that aspect. Now I think I'm more I've lived in the South for 10 years, right? There's a certain way of life here. But I think, schematically from the offensive side of things, this was the guy that was supposed to be here from the jump. And I think Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb have a lot of history, and they've won a ton of games together. So that's kind of why I'm a little bit more optimistic, is just because of Ryan Grubb and the fact that you have a new quarterback. Really, having a new quarterback should give this whole program new life, I guess, right? 936, you're up next. Hey, welcome to the show. You're online. Who am I online with, and where are you calling in from?
Yo, Kyle, it's the boy T. Rich from Lufkin, Texas. It's been a minute. What's up?
What's up, brother? I appreciate you calling in, man. T. Rich calling in from Lufkin, man. Do you guys have weather today?
Oh, man, it got horrible for a minute, but
yeah.
it eased on nothing. But
Okay.
it got bad. It was a lot of tree limbs around, but I'm glad everybody was safe.
Yeah, because I think the way that I was looking at the weather patterns, because I know my mom, she's flying in tomorrow from New Mexico. So she was going to have to go to Dallas, which I know is not by Lufkin. But, I think there was a tornado that touched down in Irving or something like that. And then that from your area, it kind of slid up through Mississippi all the way like Louisiana, southern Louisiana, and then all the way up to this area. So I'm glad you guys are safe, man. Anyways, bro, T. Rich, man, welcome on in. It's been a long time. So, it's a spring football type show. What's on your mind, man? Take it away.
Man, I've just been thinking, they got Michael Carroll, he's working at offensive tackle. I've seen this guy play on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like we recruited well enough on the defensive line. I would love to see him pull a J.J. Pegues and work at that D tackle because of his aggression, because of his dedication to the game. I mean, father was an athlete, mother was an athlete, and he is a pure dog.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we've been missing on that defensive line, a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about we've been missing that dog. That dog mentality. Michael Carroll.
You know who had it? One of the guys you're talking. I mean, I kind of think back to like those defensive linemen, defensive tackles that Alabama had that kind of had that. Everyone's probably gonna think like Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, but who was like just pissed off, like big and nasty? Remember Christian Barmore?
Yes.
Christian Barmore, he was pissed off, and like he looked like
he was a freak of nature at that.
And you know how Tyler Booker recently just said it's like legal assault, like when you're playing football? Christian Barmore was trying to get arrested. Like, that's how mad he was on the field. So, and look, I haven't thought about that at all. I don't think that'll happen, T. Rich, like Michael Carroll playing defense. But I do agree with you when you looked at who they recruited, because you do have Steve Mbua, who I'm hopeful for, and London Simmons. But other than that, I think you need to either go to the transfer portal or figure something out there. But, Michael Carroll, I keep thinking about when Michael Carroll was just beating the hell out of that poor kid last year and those highlights, right?
He just has that dog. I mean, and if I feel like Bama will take a step forward, it wouldn't be because of Grubb. The talent has always been there. It's been about getting the people behind, the right people behind, the players that's going to, motivate them to play, because that's what it seemed like it lacked. And if you notice, man, there's a lot of coaches that have left and come to Alabama, and they just, have this swagger of, I'm in Alabama, so I got the players. I ain't got really coaches hard. One of those coaches, to me, don't knock me, but Coach Cool. He was one of them that he didn't get the best out of his athletes because he wanted to be so cool. And it's like the coaches want to be more friends than coaches these days, and you're not pulling the best out of the athlete.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like if they do take a step forward, it would be the defense, because so many people that's returning. I don't know if Tim Keenan is going to start, because I'd love to see James Smith start, me personally. But you think about it. You finna have James Smith and his high school teammate playing beside each other this year. They're going to feed off each other. That's going to be dope. And we still got LT Overton over there. Yeah. If we can get – we need another dog in that D-line. I'm not saying Keenan is not a dog, but he lacks in a few areas. How Damon Payne, Dan Payne, he had that power and speed. It's like he got power. Keenan has power, but he can't convert his power to speed. And like I said, we just missing that dog. Now James Smith, he's gonna bring some dog out this year. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. But I feel like if we do take a step forward, it's going to be because of Kane Womack in that defense. And I'm hoping that we get more coaches that can command a room instead of only being the strength and conditioning coach. Because what I'm hearing is only Baloo is the one that the players listen to. So I hope we get all of that good camaraderie back. Let's bring back some old Bama players. But it'll be the defense that'll be the reason that they take that step forward, Kyle.
Yeah, you know what? I love your point about, having a coach in there that coaches hard. Because if you played any type of sports, when a coach gets on your ass, does it suck? Is it uncomfortable? Yes. Yes, but guess what it does?
It's supposed to be feel good.
Exactly.
But it likes that fire under you.
Exactly.
Okay, I got to go harder now.
Exactly. It's like when
everybody wants this slap on the wrist now.
100%. And it's like when your mom, your dad, Or the worst is your grandpa comes to your room and he's like, clean your damn room. And you're like, no problem. And you're just, so you need that. You don't need somebody, you don't need Danny Tanner from Full House come up. It's important to clean your room because, applesauce and coach these guys hard.
Man, when I played football, my coach used to always tell us, basketball is a contact sport. Football is a collision sport. Which one you want to be a part of? Man, when you got a basketball team, they come in, they high and fly, you can see their face. But when them women just come see them battle scars when you come out of spring practice and training and stuff, hey, that demands attention. That shows your toughness. Yeah. There's something about football that shows that toughness, that grit, that, hey, I'm finna kick your ass, whoever ain't got on the same color as I got on. Mm-hmm. You in for a long day. And we hadn't had that in a while at Alabama, so I hope we get the coaches that can bring the best out of those players. I hope we get the players that are wanting to play for Alabama that has the grit and dog. Those small town Mississippi schools, Alabama schools, Louisiana schools. Those players that want to play that aren't in it just for the NIL or just for the status. No, you still have a lot of players that are underrated, that are out here, that really want to play. And it's not about the money. It's because they have a passion for the game. And I feel like that's what the NIL has done, me personally, to the game. It's knocked the passion for the game out of the sport. No. But Kyle, man, I thank you for taking my call, Roll Tide Roll.
Good to talk to you,
T-Rich. I got to start back calling you, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you joining, man. Take it easy, bro. All right, that was T-Rich calling from Lufkin. You guys laughing about the whole Danny Tanner thing. I can't even remember that I remembered that dude's name. Remember the dad? He was soft as hell. And he'd go up, and I got it. He was a girl dad. But look, kids don't need to understand why they need to clean their room. They need to clean it. You need to show them how to clean it, okay? But clean your room means clean your room, right? Just like when you're coaching, like you get on them, and through that is discipline and love. That works. That's worked forever. I don't know why, like culturally, that changed. And then if somebody's coaching you hard, your feelings get hurt. Coach doesn't like you, you leave. You know what I'm saying? If the coach is on your ass, that means that he loves you. Remember when Coach Saban was ripping Kool-Aid? McKinstry? Remember? I think it was it Touchdown Alabama or someone like that caught a soundbite and they replayed it? And it was Coach Saban ripping on Kool-Aid? That's when you know that the coach likes you. All right, 251. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Anderson. Who am I on the line with and where you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. Ron McDaniel. First-time caller.
All right, Ron. What's up, man? Where are you calling in from?
Yeah, I'm actually in Tuscaloosa now. I grew up in Tuscaloosa. You got you got my Foley coming up, but I lived in Gulf Shores 25 years, but I've been back in Tuscaloosa for a while. And I was remembering just this morning, I was talking to a guy. I can remember, I'm kind of an old guy, when Coach Bryant first came here in 1956, I think I was 8 years old. Mm-hmm. They were talking within a year and a half of letting Coach go because he wasn't making all the great wins that he was supposed to be here making. And that was Coach Bryant.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, in comparison to what's going on with DeBoer, we ain't got any problem with that guy. He's an awesome coach. The only problem we would have if somebody else wants to take him down the road. You got to give somebody like DeBoer a chance to make his own team, and that's what he's doing now. Like you mentioned a while ago, the players that are coming on now is something else. Yeah, I have some fond memories of Coach Bryant. My dad had a little bait shop down from Thomasville, and the coach would stop in because he liked to climb up on his tower after they got out on the field. So if he was early going to the practice, he'd stop in, walk around my dad's little bait shop. It's like seeing like seeing a movie star.
Yeah.
Coach Bryant was something else, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking of the comparison of what was going on when I was a little kid. And, people were mad because Coach wasn't living up to expectations.
Yeah.
So, I thought maybe that needed to be a comparison that was known. We always knew what Coach could do after the time, but it took some time to get there for even Coach Bryant.
Yeah.
And, of course, Saban took a year or two himself. So.
Yeah. And that's been interesting to see obviously, I'm more familiar with Coach Saban than I am with Coach Bryant, and I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. But when I think about a lot of people, more than I thought, and it was going to be interesting either way, Coach Kalen DeBoer's first year, but I feel that fans, I think, were gracious and more mature, I guess, than I thought they were going to be, because they did look to Kirby Smart's first year, Coach Saban's first year, and understand also, I think the bigger thing, too, is, Ron, college football completely changed. Like, those who think of Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt is not the same Vanderbilt as they've been the last 20 years. Vanderbilt, all these teams, they completely changed because of NIL and just the changing landscape. And it happened like that. It happened within months.
Exactly.
So, I think we have to. So I think when we think about college football, we have to think that, look, this changed, but I think where some of us also have issues is, like, there wasn't anything wrong with Coach Saban's culture, but DeBoer's different, right? So that you see kind of a culture shift, and I think us living now in the South, like, when you're here, there's a certain way to do things, and I think he'll get there, but it takes a while to kind of get accustomed to this into the SEC. But Ron, I appreciate you calling in. Stay safe. I'm hearing the storms too. It looks like they passed, but it looks like we might have a little trickle here later on.
I'm feeling better about it. It's not. I'm out here in Cottondale area. It's
okay.
Not quite as bad as.
You're by Jesus, man.
You.
Okay, man. See you later.
All
right. Take it easy, Ron.
Appreciate you taking the call.
See ya.
Bye.
Jesus man's out there in Cottondale. Where I guess I call that 5 points. He's by Bojangles. Anytime, that's how I get out to the airport. I kind of cut back through that area, and I always like honk the horn at Jesus man. Say what's up. Everybody, like, if you're in this area, you know who Jesus man is. He's been doing that, I think, for like forever. He just stands out there with a sign, praying for all of us. I love it. I've been to Bojangles a couple times. Are we fans of Bojangles, by the way? I don't think we've ever discussed that. I've been to Bojangles like once outside, and then when I used to go to Coleman Coliseum for the basketball games, I used to go to Bojangles because there was one in the arena. I think there's still one. And it wasn't bad. I had the chicken tenders, whatever. Kimberly's checking in. Thunderstorms in Montgomery around 9 p.m. Yeah, so it looks like there could still be some storms throughout the night. Call line is open, 205-850-1994. On the screen right here, this is Jam Miller. Look at him. And this is Robert Gillespie. Robert Gillespie, I think he's the associate head coach or something like that. Damn good coach. He's coached some really good running backs. 256, you're up. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from? Hey, 256, are you there? Try to call again, 256. I don't know what happened. 256, but the call line is open, 205-850-1994. Does anybody inside the comment box think that Alabama has a running back that runs for 1,000 yards? Projects. You know Jesus man, right? Who doesn't? Damn, Andy, what's up, man? Good to see you inside the comment box. Andy says, I remember when Gillespie played for Florida, he was a good running back. Huntsville in the house? What's up, man? I love Huntsville. You know, I went up to Huntsville. I'd never been to Huntsville. Call line's open. So 205-850-1984. I'd never been to Huntsville up until a couple years ago. Yo, Huntsville's nice. That's a nice place. It's like brand new. Like, so I think I stayed in Madison. It's big. The downtown's dope. There's good restaurants. There's good music. I was staying right by is it the Trash Pandas? Oh yeah, I think it's this Trash Pandas. You know, it was crazy when I was out there one night. I dipped into this like local bar, and Steve Lacy, R&B singer, was in one of the small clubs, just posted up. I think he must have been en route to Nashville or whatever. That was the first time that I went to Jack Brown's. Has anybody been to Jack Brown's? 205-850-1994 if you want to call in and talk Bama football with me. 239, let's do it. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Anderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hi, Kyle. My name is Jeremy Matthews. I'm calling from Fort Myers, Florida.
All right, Jeremy calling from Fort Myers. All right, man. What's up, man? I appreciate you calling in. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, speaking of 1,000 yards running back,
yeah.
I've seen Richard Young play in high school for Lehigh Senior High here in the Fort Myers area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If he get a chance, you will see 1,000 yards running back because the way he ran the ball, could nobody really take him down. So Richard Young, he's going to be the guy to reach that 1,000 yards.
Yeah, what was it like watching him in high school? Because look, he had some opportunities, as you know, here. But like, I've been so excited for him to get opportunities. I'm a huge fan of him. It's surprising to me that he's only 210 pounds. He looks like he's 220. But what was your take in high school?
He was 220. In high school, he was 220.
Wow.
Because when his offensive coordinator, he was my offensive coordinator during the time I was playing in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him, we still talk. And he told me that Richard Young, he will be the guy at Alabama.
Yeah. I'm not surprised to hear it, man.
In high school,
yeah.
From what I saw in high school, he was amazing until he went up against Naples High. They had a good game plan on stopping him. So that was one of his worst games that I ever saw him play in.
I look at Alabama's running backs, and one of the things that I've been complimentary on with this current running back room is I think outside of Kevin Riley, all these running backs are big dudes, right? Like Jams, 220.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Young, let's call him 215. Daniel Hill's 240. A.K. Deere, I think, is 210. Kevin Riley, he's probably 200. But you see what I'm saying? Like, they're bigger style backs. While we're talking running backs, how do you think that Ryan Grubb will utilize the running backs? Do you think it'll kind of be a running back by Draylon Washington, he's the other one. He's like 220 as well. Do you think it'll be kind of a running back by committee at least this year with like Draylon, Jam, and Richard Young kind of being those running backs in the rotation, or do you think they'll be like a featured back?
I believe, Caden DeBoer and Ryan Grubb knows that, this is the SEC, and the running game is the bread and butter here in the SEC.
Yeah.
So I believe that with Ryan Grubb, how he did with what was his name?
Johnson, right?
Washington.
Yeah.
Dylan Johnson, because Dylan Johnson, he transferred from Mississippi State.
He was a monster.
So I believe they are going to really utilize the running backs. I think it's going to be a 3-back room, maybe even 4.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be mad about that because you look at the schedule, and just as he pointed out, I mean, it's a hell of a gauntlet. You have a couple games in the front end that might be favorable. I look at like, the Wisconsin game, and I think it's Louisiana Monroe before that. I would imagine that Florida State's going to be much better, and that's kind of their like comeback game. So they'll be up for that one. The rest of the schedule's hard. In which it should be.
Yeah, I believe the South Carolina game, that's where they really got to use the running back.
Oh my goodness, you're right. I mean,
because
South Carolina is going to be so good this year.
Dangerous.
Mm-hmm. South Carolina is so good. South Carolina's good. Georgia, they're going to be Georgia. Auburn at the back end of the season. Tennessee, LSU, those games are here. It's a hard schedule. So, and it's a gauntlet. It's so hard to make the playoffs if you're an SEC team. That's why I think these teams, I keep saying they should dip out and be independent and play Notre Dame's schedule. But that's just me. Anything else, Jeremy, while we got you on the line?
Yeah. How is the wide receiver room looking? Because I haven't seen catch on much of the practice lately.
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw like some small highlights of the wide receivers, but we know more about the wide receivers. And I asked this earlier. I cut a video talking about the wide receivers, and I think sometimes when you talk about the wide receiver room, it's easy just to highlight Ryan Williams, and rightfully so. Like
right.
Ryan Williams, what he did last year was more than phenomenal. I wish I had a better adjective to describe like sensational, like what, and even when he does his podcast and stuff, like the dude just has it, right? Like the guy is he just has it. But outside of him,
right.
Damn, you got Jeremy Bernard. Like Jeremy Bernard was a very capable and he was very dependable, right? Last year. You brought in Isaiah Horton, who had a lot of production from Miami. He's like 6'4".
And yeah, speaking of Isaiah Horton, I know a couple of guys who I work with who are diehard Miami fans.
Yeah,
and they told me y'all got yourself a dog.
Yes, yeah, I know that
he's going to be. They say that they see him more like the early days of a Michael Irvin, how he was physical against the DBs.
Yeah. I know. I've told this story before. When I talked to somebody who covers Miami, and I told him, "Hey, is Isaiah Horton really going to come here?" And he's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, it's going down." This was before he was even in the transfer portal. He's like, "Holy shit! Like that's crazy! Right. Like he is the guy here at Miami." So that just shows you. Here he is, right here, number 1. Damn. And then you have like Rico Scott right here, number 11. Who's very talented. Cole Adams right here, number 7. He's a slot position wide receiver. You got Jalen Mbakwe, who moved from defense to offense. Jalen Hell. I mean,
yep.
I don't know if anybody.
But I believe Rico Scott. He's going to be that one receiver who's going to come out with a finish in one of those tough games. Say like against Auburn when like Ja'Cory Brooks, nobody expecting him to win to get that, that winning that touchdown to tie the game up. Mm-hmm. So I believe Rico Scott, he's going to be the X factor.
Rico Scott's good, man. He had a really good game against Michigan. I've been hyping up Rico Scott for a while, man. But Jeremy, I appreciate you calling, man. Calling again, man. I love the stories out of Florida.
All right, thank you.
Take it easy, man. All right, Jeremy calling out of Fort Myers, Florida. We got a 316. Let's go to it. Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson, who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Yeah, my name's Eric. I'm calling in from Wichita, Kansas.
All right, we go from Fort Myers to Wichita, Kansas. Appreciate you calling in, Eric. Thank you very much for joining the show tonight, man. Go ahead, it's your show.
Well, hey, first-time caller, long-time listener, first time I ever caught you live. So,
yeah.
Anyway, my point is I was born in Mobile, Alabama. My mom lived in Tuscaloosa before she passed away. But I've been a Tide fan since I was knee-high to crickets and love everything about what's going on with the exception of our offense. Mm-hmm. Like defensively, I think our returning starters are going to be good. Now they have experience, and now maybe we do well on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. But why in the hell are we don't run motion? If you have the receiving room that we have, and we put them up against the best in the SEC, they just stand there. They just stand there. We're not running any type of motion because motion creates confusion. Confusion creates opportunities, and we're not doing that. And we didn't do it this year because if our game plan was to just run Jalen Milroe last year, that's great. Mm-hmm. it would have even been easier had we created motion away from where he's going, right? Let's draw Ryan Williams to the other side of the field, or we don't want to run trick plays, right? We don't want to, because we want to out muscle you the entire damn game, but we cannot do this without motion. And so if you look back at the games, especially like the Auburn game, the Tennessee game, and even the Oklahoma game, I saw motion maybe 4 times. Motion creates confusion, and we don't do that. I think Sheridan actually sucked as a coordinator. I don't think he could fight his way out of a wet paper bag because we don't run enough motion. Because if you run motion to the left side, that creates opportunities on the right side. Because when somebody vacates the right side, who covers it? Nobody. And that's where we needed Jalen Milroe to be good, but we couldn't do that because we stood there and like a 4 wide receiver set, we pull the ball down, and we run it right up the fucking middle. Yeah, that's super dope. No, it's not. That is bad coaching. So I listen to you all the time, and I listen to all your analytics and the thought process that you have. But what do you think about the thought of motioning our receivers? And let me preface this. Because we do motion, but we motion right back to where we were. We didn't change the narrative. The narrative is to get an advantage. And if we're going to get an advantage against a very strong defensive team, then why the fuck would we run a guy sitting outside? We run him to the inside, and he goes right back to it. What did that change? Nothing.
No.
But if we run him across the field multiple times, that might not help the play right then, but it will help something in the second half when you can evaluate how the defense played that. So motion creates separation because none of our receivers that we had, Jeremy Bernard or Ryan Williams, they're not strong enough to get off of tight coverage when they're lined up in a man-on-man situation. But if you put them in motion, therefore, they get a free release. Our free release is what we needed when we have a quarterback that is, let's just say, subpar at reading defenses because he eyeballs receivers. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, Eric calling from Wichita. You're getting a lot of good feedback inside the comment box. I agree with you, too. That's why I let you just run. Because I am a huge fan of Kyle Shanahan. Maybe not that much this year. A lot has to do with Christian McCaffrey being hurt. But point is, the 49ers are going to motion your ass. And they're going to make you so confused defensively. And they're going to get their football to their best players. It doesn't matter if they put Kyle Juszczyk, who's like an H-back, out at the slot position. They're going to get their best players the football in a variety of ways. And that's why I'm so excited about Ryan Grubb. And hopefully they're able to implement some motion. I think back to a team that really sliced up Alabama. That was a couple years ago. Is Michigan. Now Michigan's beat Alabama the last 2 years. Think about this. The Rose Bowl. Go back and just watch. If you have nothing else to do, watch the first drive of the Rose Bowl when Michigan had the football. Alabama didn't know what they were doing on the defensive side of the ball because of motion. Alabama has the players to do it, and I agree. I don't like this motion a little bit here and then end up at the same spot like you're talking about, Eric. So I think Alabama has the players to do that. They have the wide receivers to do that. They have the wide receivers stay fresh. Hopefully they have the quarterback to be able to command that offense, to be able to do that. And that's why we're so excited about Ryan Grubb being here. So, I co-sign on most all your points. I don't know. And I think, look, Sheridan, I agree with you. Definitely wasn't the offensive coordinator that we wanted. The thing about this, he came over here to be the tight ends coach, and then he gets a knock on the door. Hey, you're going to call the offense. For 1 year until Ryan Grubb comes over here. He's like, oh, shit. Okay, and let's do it. So here we are.
No, this this is what I got to say about that. That would be like saying that I have an interior decorator coming over to be your flooring guy. That's what that was.
100%. Yeah.
You can't do that.
Exactly. You had the painter.
Can't do that.
Yeah, you have the painter. Yeah, can you now install the hardwood floors? No, it's not. That's not how it works.
Yeah, exactly. No, he totally screwed that up. But what I'm saying is this is my first time calling, and I just got lucky to get in tonight. And I was like, you know what? I got a take on this.
Yeah, you're
So
good, bro.
here's what I want to see. I just want to see this. I want to see an offense that is dynamic. But listen, we've seen in years past under Saban, and I don't want to bring up Saban because everybody's going to dog me about Saban. But I love the guy. But the point being is that he would put his running backs in motions. He would put his running back in motion because now you have to cover the flat. So if you're covering the flat, because your running back might be Mark Ingram, or it might be Derrick Henry, or it might, be any of the running backs that we've had. You have to cover the flat. So if you're covering the flat, you're not covering the damn seam. So now our tight ends become more effective, and this is all because of motion, not just with receivers. We need to have pre-snap movement to discombobulate the damn defense.
Yeah.
But if we set up and line up in a one receiver on the left, two on the right, and no motion, you know what's going to happen. Jalen Miro up the middle.
Yeah.
Have to do this. It was a bad play design, bad offensive design, and we had the players to pull this off. I'm just saying, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but dude, I am 54 years old, and I have been watching this shit. I grew up in Mobile, Alabama. My dad was a Kenny Stabler fan, so that kind of screwed me because then I was a Raiders fan. So now I'm used to losing on the pro side. But I am just saying that we have to go back to what we do. And yeah, and I agree. We have to run the damn ball. But you know what? Run the damn ball means we have to confuse the defense. And if we line up and we don't move, we are not going to be successful that way. We have to motion, so they have to think about, and we have to motion away. But how many times have you saw this in the last 3 years? That we're on the wide side of the field, and then we run to the short side of the field, and we motion nobody away from that. You think Ryan Williams is going to take on some other team's strong-ass safety coming down hard because he sees that? No. You run him to the other side so he has to eliminate that position, and we run to the short side of the field with a big back. We don't do this. This is bad play calling. It's a bad offensive design. And if Ryan, trust me, if Ryan Grubb is a dude, I'll call back in the next time I get a chance and tell you that's the dude. But I know the dude we had last year, that ain't the dude.
All right, Eric. I appreciate you calling in, man. Call again next time. See you, bud.
All right, man.
Eric calling from Wichita. We've got a 20 spot in from Kill Tech. What's up, man? Kill Tech, I appreciate you. He says, how much do you think that the Tide That Binds show contributed to the team looking unprepared? You know, I was kind of wondering this as well. It was kind of like from a distraction standpoint. First of all, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you, bro. You know, Coach Kalen DeBoer said that there was only one camera. So what was concerning was before they played Vanderbilt, like on this last episode, there was like no intensity in the locker room. It was the weirdest thing I ever seen. And I think it was Coach Kalen DeBoer who was saying, yo, like, wake up. Or somebody was saying something. And you see the last episode? The guys like were just kind of monotone. It was weird. I'd never seen that before. and then they went out and Vanderbilt kicked their ass. That was crazy. I don't know. I was on the episode. I was like, Vanderbilt won't score 10 points. Coach Saban was before me. He's like, that's the easiest place to play in SEC. Oh, man. So, wanted to get on and give you guys an opportunity to call in tonight on my Tuesday show. So I appreciate you guys rocking with me. I'm flirting with more evening shows because I know, we have a ton of subscribers, but people are on at different times. People who work during the day, so I appreciate you guys rocking with me in the evening time. So thank you so much for calling in the show. I love just chit-chatting, honestly, like getting to hear your perspectives on things. I love it. So I'm here for it. I think the next episode on that Tide That Binds is tomorrow. And is that right? Usually the last time I watched it when I was like getting ready and stuff like that before the show. So we'll talk about it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Tomorrow, Alabama does have another practice. Let me see what they got cooking tomorrow. See if there's any like interviews or anything like that to keep your head on a swivel in terms of practice. Give me 1 second. Let me look at this email real fast. So I guess tomorrow you'll get an opportunity to hear from Ryan Grubb at some point during the day, which would be cool. I mean, and I kind of end on this right here. Ryan Grubb, this guy probably has the most pressure out of anybody in the world, right? He's like supposed to resurrect the whole team. So we'll see what happens. Yo, I appreciate you guys rocking. Get some sleep. Say your prayers. Enjoy life. And we'll catch you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. See you, fam. Good night.